Look, that's fine to be here with all of it. But, we're running a little late. I'm sure everybody's already here, but I'm Boots Levinson. I love working with renters. I hate working with buyers. Tell you right now. I don't know the first thing about working with buyers. And I've been doing this for over probably 14 years. And the reason is that I love renters, and renters turn into buyers. And so if you're a buyer, if you're looking to use me as a realtor, you're going to lose money with me. I don't know the first thing. I know a little, right? So I can tell you actually had 4 buyer transactions. Had quite a few sales transactions. I don't find it fun or enjoyable. I like quick cash, I like quick clients, and I like working with them and talking and getting referrals and getting to the point of wanting to be able to be buyers. When I pass it off to my partners. Okay, so before we get into this, how many of you are new agents, newer agents?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania?
I've been licensed in New York for 5 years.
Okay, so New York, rental agents, stuff like that, it's a different way, in terms of.
And I'm upstate New York.
Okay.
I like to specify that because it's different than New York City.
Gotcha. Where in the state?
Syracuse.
Okay, gotcha. We've got buildings in White Plains and stuff like that, multi-families. Okay, so this is really for, people that are looking to, get into the real estate business, start with renter, don't really have a better sphere of influence, or reaching out to friends and family, and acquaintances to say, hey, I can help you buy, you're working with either the PC coaching program, stuff like that, or other agents, or you're on teams, and stuff like that. But with renters, a lot of the time, the realtors are going to say, if they're listing agents, I don't want to work. Is it okay if I sit down? Yeah. They're going to say, I don't want to work with my rental lead because it's a waste of time. So I'm going to give it to anyone who wants to take it. And so as newer agents, reach out, go on the MLS. It's just like pre-class stuff, but go on the MLS, find out who are the agents and your brokers that are listing properties for rent, and reach out to them if you want leads. And say, hey, I love working with renters. If you don't want to work with them, I'll tour all of your properties with the leads. And they'll be like, oh my God, I'm going to save you so much time. I'm happy to do that. Please, yes, do it. Not all will say it. Some. Okay. So the course is really designed. I've got notes. It's the first time I'm actually teaching this. So if I'm looking down here so I can stay on track, because I tend to go off topic a lot. At least my wife says that. So hopefully we can stay on track. But it's really, the course is to show you how to work with renters and building really a steady pipeline, especially for newer agents, and using tech tools in order to help you build your clients into long-term clients. Over the next, 30 minutes, 40 minutes at most, I'm going to be talking, stuff like that. We're going to explore how working with rental clients isn't just a way to earn, quick commissions. Yes, you will earn quick commissions working with renters, but it's a smart and strategic move to building your long-term sustainable pipeline for future buyers. Think of rentals not as one-off deals, which technically sometimes they are. Rent them. They're done, you forget about them, you forgot to follow up with them about renewals, you forgot to ask them if they're looking to buy, you forgot to ask for referrals. So usually, for the most part, renters are one and done. But I want you to think differently about this. And think of it not as one-off deals, but as the foundation really for building your long-term wealth as a real estate agent. And just like a 401k plan is, as you're building a retirement plan with consistent contributions, over time, so does your real estate business will grow and cultivate these relationships, especially with renters. Yes.
Can you close the door? Unless it gets too hot, was kind of low.
Sure.
Thank you.
And as I'm going through this, if you guys have any questions, stop me. Happy to reach out, respond, stuff like that. And so you want to build up these relationships with renters, basically. So since 2009, me personally, have been involved in facilitating probably over 10,000 plus leases. Individual leases more than 54,000 units that I've listed on the MLS in multiple different states. Quite a lot, but really here's what matters most about it. They weren't just, I don't consider them really rental transactions. Each lease was really the beginning of a long-term relationship, or at least trying to build a long-term relationship. Sometimes you rent with somebody, they ghost you. No matter what you do and how much fun you had out while you were touring, they ghost you. It just happens, right? And many of these renters, though, will come back as buyers and become sellers later on. And really the core of this whole strategy is that every rental client or contact is really a potential long-term client. Everyone you meet, grocery store, if they're a renter, if they're a buyer, you can replace, every time I say renter, replace the word with buyer in your head. It's the exact same thing and the same mentality. You should do it. So if you treat rentals as a starting point and rather than as a side hustle, the most realtors kind of think of it as just making extra quick cash or something like that. You build really a self-renewing pipeline of future buyers. And talking about numbers, because rentals can absolutely be really reliable and a consistent income stream for you, right? Not like the closing big sale deals and stuff like that, but really constant income coming in month over month. And on average, a single commission here, in the city, for example, could be anywhere between $500 and up to $2,000, depending on, what commission is the listing agent or management company offering, what's going on in the market, what they're offering in New York. It could be a full month commission paid by the tenant. It could be a full month commission paid by the landlord. Here, it's usually a half month's rent paid by the listing agent or ownership to the tenant agent. And it isn't just side income. I mean, it's really the foundation of building a high volume business because it's about relationships and contacts and talking. Now, I'm a deeply big introvert. I don't like talking to people, especially people I don't know. But talking about subjects that I know well, such as photography, I know that inside and out, and renters, I feel more comfortable doing it. So it's like finding your own voice in order to do that, but really, the best part about building a high volume business starting with renters is that the turnaround time is faster, the barriers for entry are lower, and the demand is steady, right? Barriers, what's a lower barrier? Not every realtor wants to work with their rental clients. You have a great opportunity to reach out to listing agents and ask them, hey, can I help you work that? You don't need a big book of business in order to get more clients. Put on Facebook group, I want to work renters. Reach out to me, I'll give you my contact information, that kind of stuff. Happy to do it. And you can count on rentals to bring in consistent earnings while you grow the overall business, especially with your sphere and with buyers and stuff like that. But the truth is that renters aren't just short-term clients. Yeah.
I saw that you put 1 to 2 renters a month.
Yeah.
Where do you why do you come up with that number? You think that's sufficient? Is that something you did?
Starting out, I did, it's hard to say right off the bat, do 1 rental a month, 12 leases a year. But as you find your voice, find your scripts, find your steady way of working and finding your lead source, and through constant evolution of how you are doing and operating your business, right? Your experiences, what worked, what didn't work, you'll find that you'll start to close more. And I think doing 12 leases, a year is pretty basic. I mean, so like Karina is on my team. Karina, how many leases do you think you would do this year? Karina? How many leases do you think you would do this year?
Like that I closed. We said 1 tree per month, but more like a you always get money in me.
One full week.
Yeah, 1 for a week, 3 sometimes. Sometimes like 2 weeks ago it was 5 a week.
And again, it depends, right? But
It depends. Some weeks I should get information that an application went in and then she decided to go to something else. That's what I was responding. You never know.
You don't know. And renters, again, they're not just short-term clients, they're all future buyers. Or at least the mentality is, why aren't you buying instead of renting? With no return on investment for, buying, a lease. They are buying real estate, right? A term, right? They're not buying $500,000, $250,000 condo, they're buying $2,000 a month, they're buying a $24,000 transaction. That's a big transaction in 1 year, right? I think it's big. It's like buying a used, I don't know, Bronco or minivan or BMW or something. Well, the BMW is probably going to
Camry.
down a lot.
Camry.
And listen, nearly 2/3 of the renters that we've worked with will eventually come back to us, whether they're asking us to help with renewals, help them to review the leases, if they're going to find a new property or potentially come out and purchase. And the reason is that they remember the service that you provided at the time when they were in need, and you provided guidance and your knowledge, but most importantly, your wisdom of your experience to help them through make that $24,000 purchase. They don't think of this as a $24,000 purchase. They're like, I should be to rent. And you tell them you're buying something at $24,000. That will most likely change their mentality of what they're actually looking for, and you really hone in on what they want versus what they don't. So they can throw out the chaff of all the stuff that you're potentially sending them without really taking care of the time of figuring out what they really need. You're sending them everything on the list, which isn't a good day. I did, but if you're overlooking renters as part of your business, you're missing out on future commissions, and also you're missing out on tomorrow's sale. Every one of the agents here on this team that's either an owner of a team or something like that, do you know how much money they're paying to buy buyer leads from Zillow? Or rather now it's Referral from Zillow Flex, but it's expensive. But what are rental leads? They're cheap, they're free for the most part, and they're abundant. They're just abundant if you know where to look. And every renter you help now is a potential buyer down the road. And really this is where your buyer pipeline starts. Right. So that should have been the slide that I was just talking about. So you want, I can read this a little bit and then I can go into the next slide, or would you tell me to move on to the next? Okay. Low barrier entry, high ROI. So one of the biggest advantages of working with renters is really how streamlined the process is. There's no open houses to schedule. There's no lengthy negotiations, right? There's little due diligence compared to sales. How much stuff part of sales? Is there like home inspections, 10 days to respond to condo docs and all this stuff? There's nothing like that. Almost nothing like that. And most rental clients that you find need to move quickly. 90 days or less, 60 days, 30 days. Gotta help you to find somebody that needs to move in 30 days or less. They've seen everything and you're basically go over it. But getting but once you master the rental workflow, your time to income ratio significantly increases, and oftentimes it's better than sales transactions, right? How many times have you worked with a buyer, and how many times have you gone out with them to tour properties? How long is it taking you to get to go out with them? How much time has you put involved in that? All that stuff for the renter. You show you ways you meet them, send them properties, you go out, you close, and so the ROI from the amount of time you spend with them is significantly higher than what they buy. Even as a seller, I don't know, I don't have that much involved with sellers, although it takes forever, at least for income generating properties, and stuff like that.
Robert, you think of that, I'm thinking myself. I ran to see before I could. I would say between like 5 and 8, you think?
On average, you should be touring 5 to 7 properties, of which in each property could have 1 or 2 units, right? Like an apartment building, there may be 2 1-bedrooms and 1 studio that they want to see or something like that. 5 to 7 properties at most. If it's more than that, it becomes like menu overload. Like if you go to a Greek diner, how big is their menu? How long does it take you to pick something to eat? The pancakes look good, the waffles look good, but the scramble looks even better, and the hash. When's the last time I had corned beef hash? It just takes a while. Versus on-top restaurant that has very few entries and entrees. You're just picking. This is what I got. That's what you want. But in order to tour 5 to 7 properties, you have to know what kind of properties to send to your client, because you got to send more than 5 to 7 of your loss. Also, if you guys want, I'll give you access to this too as well. Take pictures if you want, but I'll give you links, all that stuff.
You said sending them off the MLS. I know where I'm from. We often would find more rentals off the MLS. So here, are you more likely to find rentals on MLS?
So I'll get into that too as
Okay.
well. I'll show you the volume of what's on the MLS.
Okay.
But for the most part, you can find the majority. You can find apartments that'll meet your client's needs based on the MLS.
Okay,
Based on it. Now, there are properties that are on Zillow, Truly, Apartments.com, stuff like that. They're not on the MLS.
Mhm.
But the amount of time it takes for you to figure out who's the contact, is it a homeowner? Is it an owner? Is it a management company? Do they offer compensation? If they don't, are you going to tour it? There's all this stuff which then leads to additional amount of time that you're spending, which your return on investment for that lead starts to really shrink down. So it's finding your way of operating that
Okay.
makes the most sense. Business-wise, because you should think of this as a business. You know what I mean? But again, it really depends. But I'll get into it.
okay, sounds good, thank you.
Okay, so rentals are one of the most reliable way to hedge and protect your business against downturns and upturns in markets and stuff like that, based on that economic factors. Even when the sales market slows down, people still need a place to live. And it means that demand remains steady, especially for renters. And regardless of interest rates, inventory shortages, economic shifts, right, with year-round turnover, every year there's turnover. Rentals give you this built-in safety net of staying a realtor, staying in the business, being able to make commissions, cover your expenses, stuff like that, being a realtor. And it provides constant opportunities in any market cycle. Spring, summer, fall, winter, the seasonality of rentals doesn't matter.
Do you recommend just sticking to, doing renters?
No.
I-
Oh, you should do everything. They think of it as like, most realtors don't think, want to work with renters. They like, I'm gonna work with buyers, and this is my pipeline. I'm just saying, what if you took 5% of your effort and tried to do rentals and see if it worked? I'm not saying do only renters versus this, but I'm saying if you work with renters over time, you will make way more than $100,000. Because those renters are going to turn to buyers, referral sources, and it builds your network, especially for brand new agents. If you don't have a large sphere or you want to expand your contact database of having conversations about real estate, it's a great segue to get into. So you don't have to go full blown into renters. If you do, you're welcome to. And yes, you'll make money, and it's faster turnaround. It's a faster way of making commissions. But in the long run, you may hurt your income opportunities because you may turn down or pass down local buyers because, I'm focused so much on rentals. It really, what feels comfortable is comfortable. I'm only saying I don't work with buyers because I don't want to embarrass myself.
It's after like I work with rentals more. Now I get lazy to work with buyers, for example, because it takes so long to close, and I'm like, oh my God, I showed 50 houses to this person already, and they didn't make a decision.
I get very discouraged, and I don't like the long time of that constant communication. At least I know myself. And I would say, well, what's wrong with my client? And the problem is, it's me. What's wrong with me? Why am I not providing what they need? If I'm going out and showing 50 properties, then it's definitely something I have done, I think. But it's working with renters is really one of the smartest ways to hedge against volatility in the market. If interest rates are going up and people aren't buying and your only business is working with buyers, well, how do you deal with that? We just recently did that, right? The interest rates were as high as they. So this is really about just expanding your opportunity and your network. All right. Can you see that? The white writing in there? Is it too white? Is it hard to see?
Yeah.
Switch your eyes a little bit, stuff like that. So this, let's look at Philadelphia market for rentals and stuff like that. Is this the data is from the MLS. You're over a large amount of time, not taking into account Zillow or Apartments.com or any of that other kind of stuff. Just units that are listed on the MLS, and just for your own knowledge, I list every single unit that's available to rent in all of our buildings that we have, which I'll talk about our buildings and stuff like that, but I list every single thing, everything on it. And it's a pain in the butt, and we have an entire staff devoted to just putting rentals on the MLS, but we list everything. And I mean, we're dealing with a massive volume. It's 319,000 units listed on the MLS. massive amounts of, rentals on the MLS. It keeps growing every year with thousands of new units and developments coming online, with new developers and builders on top of what's already here, that's already in the market. Occupancy relatively remains strong, right? Vacancy rates are in the mid to low 90s, which is fairly okay. Most owners, most banking companies want to see 95, 96, 97% occupied, meaning that there's only 3-4% that are vacant in the market, which helps them test how much they should charge for rent. They shouldn't ever be at 100% occupied, meaning every unit is rented. Does anyone know why? They should never be 100% occupied.
Underpriced.
Underpriced. They have no way to gauge what the market is. They need to know. So yes, it's a loss of income for that unit, but they're making up the others. Now, granted, if you have a duplex and 2 units, if one is always vacant, that's a 50% vacancy rate. That can't work, right? So
Can you explain that, you said every unit shouldn't be rented in the building?
well, let's say you have 100 units in a building. And an owner has got a 95% occupancy rate, meaning 95 of those units are rented and occupied. That leaves 5 units. And let's say it's a studio or 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and maybe 1 bedroom again and another studio. They can determine what is their current market rate for the units that they have that's available, meaning what should they charge? If all of the units are already occupied, they can't increase or decrease the rental rates, but here they can test it. They can say, hey, if this was $2,000 before, let's say we charge $2,250, $2,250 for this. This is how long is it on the market? Nobody's cutting, nobody's taking it, touring. Let's drop it a little bit. Let's drop it a little bit. And by the time they dropped it enough and got a renter, one of these other 95 units has now the tenants decided to move out, become vacant, and now it becomes on the market, and now they can charge a little bit above what they just rented the last unit. That makes sense. If it's 100%, it's 100% rented, they have no idea what it is. It means that the days on market could be longer waiting to determine what that market rate is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got it better, yeah.
Okay.
Is that how they determine, like, how much they wanna charge the renters the following year they stay?
No. I mean, it's a precursor. Maybe, in Philadelphia, maybe it's a 3 to 7% rate increase in the lease of expectations of what they can do. But typically, if I'm an owner, I don't want to have any renewal conversation or information in my lease. I want to actually terminate. I want to say, if you want to do a new lease, then I'm going to give you a new lease and not a renewal for technical stuff, because that is a brand new lease contract. There's a little bit more paperwork and stuff about security deposit and stuff like this, but I can then ask for X. I'm not held to what that is.
Right.
But again, it's getting way into technicalities.
So you always can negotiate when you like, when your client is actually like renewing the lease, right, Boots? You always can negotiate. If you client say, oh, it's gonna be $100 increase, and you client say, oh, so I'm gonna leave, because it's $100 increase, you can always have the landlord choose just increase it $50.
Let me put it this way. It's 100% guaranteed in anything in life and any question. It's 100% guaranteed not to happen if you don't ask.
Yeah.
Guaranteed not to happen. So why not ask? So the takeaway from all this inventory and rent growth and all this stuff is that there is plenty of business to go around. Plenty of renters, plenty of units to rent out, and room for you to build really strong, sustainable pipeline for yourself. The rental market, we said before, is literally a constant movement. Every single month, there are thousands and thousands of apartments that are vacated, listed for rent, and leased, right? Thousands of them. So if you have 14,000 units that are on the market today in Philadelphia, like in Center City, 14,000, what happens next month? There's another 14,000, 15,000. There's another. And based on seasonality, there may be more in 1 month than in the winter months. But there is still constant turnover. And it creates predictable income opportunities for you because of the constant turnover. It's not like owners who are selling their houses every year, they lose money. What's the average, I don't know this, because again, I'm not a buyer or seller agent really, but how long do buyers hold or, sell it?
5 to 7
Oh,
years.
5 to 7 years. 5 to 7 years, they're gonna do a transaction. Renters, every single year, guarantee you, they're gonna do a real estate transaction. If they're a renter. They're gonna move or renew. Either one of those choices is a real estate transaction. So in 5 to 7 years, they've already done 5 to 7 rental transactions. Or maybe they come into a buyer, or you stop them from the cycle of renting and talk to them about buying. It's a compounding effect, and it isn't about waiting for the perfect rental lead to drop in your lap. It's about understanding the flow of the market, positioning yourself to capture deals quickly, repeatedly. And when you master this, you're building really a thriving and reliable business within the market. It's just understanding how the market really operates. And an income breakdown and how it adds up. Even the most modest number of leases each month can generate thousands in your sales volume or GCI. Everybody knows what GCI is, gross commission. How KW does it. And that's basically if the rental rate is $1,500, they're going to multiply by 12, and your sales volume, GCI, is $18,000. That's your sales volume. And each lease typically earns a commission based on half month's rent, right? So when you're doing this consistently, month over month, 12 leases a year, you're making an extra $9,000 in commission before splits and taxes and all that kind of stuff. But that's an opportunity or a lead source that you probably didn't consider when you wanted to become a real estate agent. It's just 12 leases and add $1,500 a month on that. You're making $9,000. What if you did 12 leases? Right? What if you did 24? What if you did 2 leases a month? Now, doing 12 means, well, not 12 leases, but doing 24 leases a year, that's doubling your amount. You also have to know, well, can I do that? Can I take on that amount of work and do my sales side and selling side? It's really, up to you. I'll tell you something, Art, on my team, I'm one of the owners of the company. Our average rental rate is about just under $2,700 at $2,645 per month, which equates to about let's call it $1,850 on the tenant side that agents can make for our listings. If you did $1,850 times 12 versus $750 times 12, for a commission, that's close to $20,000 for just 12 deals. Please come tour my properties. I love paying commissions. I love them. If you've got renters, come to my property. I will always pay a commission. And because you make money, we make money. But really, this class is so I can teach you how to work with renters to come tour my properties. And they're all in the MLS. And I love paying commissions. I can help you find how to work with renters in that price point to come tour my properties. If you don't, that's okay too. But again, the goal is to do it. And when you're doing consistent month over month, it becomes really a meaningful income source. And it's really a runway to build your long-term goals and growth and stuff like that.
Where are you finding your tenant clients? I mean, I started my career. Really, so my mom has properties in Point Breeze, so I've been managing her since I was 16. And then I got my license about almost 5 years ago. I started my first 2 years, I was very heavy on the tenant side. And I was basically getting like leads from other agents who just didn't want to work with tenants. I'm like, I don't care, because that's how I started my career, working with tenants. But I feel like this kind of slowed down a little bit of like just bringing in more tenants like that I'm like actually talking to and working with. And like I still have some agents I talk to, and they're just like, look, I don't have time for tenants, so here. I just want to like increase that volume. So I'm just wondering where else you guys are like finding or whatever lead gen sources you guys are using.
So as listing agents, both for buying or selling a property or listing for rent, leads generally will come to you. So it's acquiring, finding landlords and owners to list properties for rent is a great source, because you've got the listing side plus the potential of making money on the tenant side for bringing in clients, stuff like that. And it's really reaching out to realtors and saying, I can handle all of the legal. They don't wanna work for renters. And most likely what they'll do is they'll take that renter, the listing agent, tour their property, and then that's it. They don't take them out, they don't find their needs, they don't find what they want, they don't wanna do that because they're so focused on their other business, which is okay. It leads, and it creates an opportunity for you to be able to find those agents to step in and to take that. Maybe they wanna just tour their units, and if they don't rent their unit, then say, I'll take those leads and I'll pay you a referral fee. Don't pay 25% on that referral fee for that lead because it's so small. If anything, offer 10%. Like, it's small, right? Because each rental transaction is not that much money. 25% of not that much money is a lot of money, is what I think. So, but if you close with consistency, sure, I'd rather pay 10% on the opportunity that you're gonna close more, because that's what you want, versus 25% referral where nobody ever closes anything. Right? I'd rather make something rather than a whole lot of money. That makes sense. Okay, so you gotta think about rentals, as we're saying like this, for like long-term growth, and doing it instead of viewing it as a one-time commission like most agents are doing, one-time deal, one-time tour, is start thinking like an investment. Okay, every rental client that you have is a long-term asset, right? So you want to build that asset by buying stock or buying your 401k. It's someone you can refer friends, return as a buyer, be a potential seller later down the road. And it's just like investing in a 401k plan. These relationships will compound over time. Okay, so you don't know where this lead is going to lead to. You don't know if they have friends or if they just joined, a company that has got a huge bullpen where they're constantly bringing people and turnover and stuff like this. And you can be their referral source for all those leads. Take them out for lunch, take them out for coffee. It's okay. It's okay. And it's really every client serves to add value to your client values. That's basically it. And it's basically a common mistake with a lot of renters and a lot of agents is that you're burning through leads. You're just going to burn through them. You're only doing these one and done things. And treating them like a one and done, only showing them one apartment, it's not the way to do it. I encourage you to tell the listing agents, yeah, go show that one unit, give me all the rest of the leads. I'll show them everything. I'll take that on for you. I'll even give you a full fee for it. But when you take them to cultivate these relationships, they're going to do 5 to 10 transactions with you over the next few years. So that means referrals, friends. They will come back and rent. They will come back and potentially buy and stuff like that. And basically, solid follow-up, database management. It's just like a 401k that grows with consistency. You just have to be consistent. And you need to qualify every lead. You got to do it fast. You got to do it. I know without even looking, I'm going to ask, hey, what's your price point? When you need to move? Do you have any pets, roommates, parking requirements? Laundry, parking, all that kind of stuff. Now, let me ask you guys this. Most important thing is when they need to move. 2 questions. When they need to move, right? Because that availability date, I need to move by August 1st. That means in the MLS, when you send them properties that are available for maybe August 1st, all the way from June 15th to August 1st. If you don't put an availability date, you're going to send them stuff that's available in September and October, possibly, and they want to see these, and they're not available. The owner's not going to keep their property vacant for 45 days, 50 days, 60 days, right? Be judicial and in very big intentions on what you send them. And the other is what is your maximum price point? What do you not want to go above per month? Only on rent. Forget about utilities and insurance and anything else. So, Madison, let me ask you this. If you're a renter, I'm going to ask you this. What is the maximum dollar amount? You don't want to go above per month for your 1-bedroom in Rittenhouse Square. What is the maximum amount? Just rental.
30.
3,000?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I found the perfect property for you, but it's $3,095, or it's $3,250 per month, and it hits every box and more, I'm not going to send it to you. Right? It's above your maximum price point. I'm not sending it to you. Is that your maximum price point?
I guess it would be flexible if it was
Like
everything.
So what is, if everything hits the right boxes, what's the maximum price point you have?
I would go like a few $100s higher.
So what is your maximum price point?
So So like 3,500.
The key is asking this question and then following up and being incredibly silent and letting them internalize. Don't talk to them as they're thinking. Let them come back to you. When they do, they're really taking time to figure out what is the maximum price point. If you say anything, let it be awkward, very awkward silence. But this is actually one of the most important things, because now instead of 3,000, I just got you to jump up $500. But going from 3,000 to 3,500, how many new units and possibilities does that open up to be able to send that are most likely in what they are thinking that is worth spending more than $24,000 a year? What's $3,500 times 12? Terrible with that, right? Think of that big purchase that they just went from 3,000 to 3,500. That's a $6,000 more increase per year. Or maybe a lot.
And there's like $200 environmental commission.
Well, it's not about this one-time commission, remember, don't think about it as one and done, this is what it is, it's a long-term 401k. You have a question?
Two questions. Can I get that last slide? And then I want to ask you about your last point there.
This last one?
That's, yes, that slide. And then on the one you just had, right, dealing with, find out if you're working with another agent.
Yep.
So I work with renters now.
Okay.
And a lot of times renters, like, they're not loyal to one. There's a lot of them I found are doing their own search. They're probably working with someone or not. And it starts to become like you're spinning your wheels with them because they're all over the place, right? I have learned how to kind of reel them in to kind of, like, I start with showing them 3 properties. I have 3. That's my max. I'm filling them out. I'm willing to do that, right?
And again, the basis
Mhm.
of those clients that you showed, just 3 properties,
Mhm.
what's your closing ratio?
I closed 6 and I've been on the team for 90 days.
So you close 6, out of how many people you take it out into?
Oh, tons.
So I have spent 100, you can get 100 people on it.
I can't even guess, maybe not 100, but here's my quote.
So the question, right, so you get a lead, you get a lead and you reach out to them, how many of those never respond back?
Oh, if I get 10 leads, if I hear from 3.
And of those that you hear from back, how many of those do you actually send out properties and schedule tours to go out and tour? It's rhetorical, right?
Oh, okay.
Right, like it's a lot. And then how many of those that you actually send out properties, go out and tour and actually lease? Or those that don't lease? Really, this is your return on investment. When you're in front of somebody, you need to have the highest probability that they will execute a transaction with you, ideally, right? Because your return on investment needs to be high. If you have to go out on a second day to tour and a third day, you just now reduced it by half. And the third time you take it out, now it's 3 times less amount of money that you make. But you still have that, all those contacts, be able to reach out and, know about them and plan to move renew and all this other kind of stuff.
Right.
So, but we're working with agents.
Yes.
It depends on what is your business model. Me, if I found out that they're going anywhere and everywhere, I'm just a door opener. Thank you, but no thank you. I want to work with clients, but I will be polite in saying, who's your realtor? I'd love to reach out to them. I'll put you on an email chain and I'll say, hey, this is what they're looking for. Be a wonderful, educate them and the realtor, and the realtor will be like, oh my God, give me my client back. That's wonderful. One, the realtor will be thankful. They'll happy to do a deal with you. And the renter will respect you and stuff like that as well. And then you move on to the next one that has a probability, but you still have a client recognition. They still remember that you helped them. So this which gives you another lead in to reach out for referrals. Say, I was able to help you here, but I can help with friends, I can help with the family, I'll be able to buy, all that kind of stuff. So for me, if I know that I'm just a door opener, I'm personally not going to take them out, but I will do it in a way, let me put it this way. Winston Churchill had a quote. You all know who Winston Churchill is? The Prime Minister of England, World War II in 1950s. He had a way of talking about politicians. He goes, a politician will tell you to go to hell in a way to look forward to the ride. Right? So I want to tell that renter that I will help you in every way, make it sound like this, but I'm on to the next.
Yeah.
Because I've got volume and I just want to know it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for an accent.
That's something I do, because I know what they're like doing right around, but I'm not showing you anything to run the contract. Like, if you don't have an agent, like, we're under contract, so if you do go see stuff by yourself, I'm still getting that commission. I was just, I know, like, I have one client, so like, I'm gonna go look at apartments, I said, tell them you have an agent. And so they're like, we have to go back and do the whole thing, so it's just educating my clients beforehand on how I get my commission. If you were just out doing whatever, because they're like, what are you doing this for? Like, we're all in this for money, you want an apartment, I'm paying for the money, so it's just being very transparent and help my clients have been receptive to that.
And then at what point do you hit them with that contract?
Oh, we're not moving forward until
We
you
already
sign.
signed.
And I will sell, and that's fine, but
Right.
I'm not gonna waste my time with somebody that's not ready to sign. Even though it's a rental, I don't care, like, it's gonna be $400, but it's gonna be not $400 regardless.
No, I get it, and then sometimes it's been like, not awkward for me yet, but I know some people put that, well, I have to sign this.
Like,
Like,
you
one
gotta
guy,
sign for me,
yeah,
that's what it is.
yeah, I see people handle renters in different ways, that's why I like to give what works for.
I treat my
everybody.
buyer. I treat it just like a buyer.
So here on our team, everybody can do what they want.
Right,
You don't even know what you want. I make sure that they sign a consumer notice, period.
right,
I have them printed in my backpack, a briefcase, or agents, they sign it and stuff like this. But an agency agreement, legally, you are not required to have them to sign it when you go out and tour.
Yeah, not legally.
Not legally, not legally, not, even for a buyer, you are not legally required to have them do that. You may lose out.
After the north, so.
Yeah, I
Nope,
think that's
nope.
so,
It's and I'll tell you why. If you start any way of negotiation, talking about negotiation, or writing a contract up for lease, or talking about applications in the way that you are going to conduct a transaction, that's when you need an agency agreement. If you're just sending out properties and you're just going out to tour with them, you do not legally need a tenant agency agreement. You do not. If you require them to have a tenant agency agreement, I'm talking about renters, okay? The amount of leads that will ghost you, you'll have this pool, they'll come down to this, and of those that you go out and tour, yes, you'll make money, not make money, but what's the potential of people being able to, again, I say, I don't want my clients to pay my commission when I go out and tour them. I want the listing side to pay it. And if they don't pay it, I don't want my client, I personally don't want my client to cover my fee. Why is that? I'm looking at this like this, as they're my asset, and I'm funding my business, and I want them to grow and respect me. I'll tell them I'm not charging money, I'm losing money, whatever the spiel is. But I want them to be my referral source. I want this, and if they're paying as my agents to pay and cover my fee, it's not a one-time transaction in my mind. I'm not going to do it. But it's up to you. You run your own business, see what works, what you're successful at doing. Try both. Try one, try the other. Right? Okay, so we want to conduct structured tours, 2-hour blocks, show 5 to 7 properties, send them only 15 to 20 potential units. Remove duplicates, such as if I've got Parktown Place, 2200 bed Franklin Parkway, there's 1,000 units in that building that we list. How many one bedrooms do you think are in that one building and that one address at one time? 30 maybe? At any given time for rent? Am I gonna send them every one of those one bedrooms if they're looking for a one bed in that neighborhood and price point? No, I'm gonna send them the best one I think, and then find another property that has it. It's just menu overload. It's like that Greek diner example. Too many, and you won't remember. And then they'll say, I want to see all these 15 ones at this building. I want to see 5 over here. I want to see 3 over here. And you now have a tour list of, more than 2 hours. But when you're at one of our buildings, the on-site staff will tour any unit that meets your client's expectations, if it's vacant, right? If they want to see a one bedroom for, $22,000, sure, that will show you this one and this one and this one. That's fine. Let's move on to the next property. But only tour 5 to 7 properties because you get menu overload, and only send them 15 to 20 curated, units that you think are going to be their part of their non-negotiables, what they really need. Right? Yep.
A common issue I run into is like I'll show them those 5 to 7 properties and they'll like a few of them, but then the next day something might pop on Zillow that they see and they call me up. Hey Joe, can we actually tour this property? I just saw it pop up.
Not on the MLS.
What?
It's not on the MLS.
Oh, they might be on the MLS too, but they saw because they were browsing that night on Zillow. And then that might happen 3 times where, okay, I'll show you this other property. They call me up 2 days later. Oh, another one popped up. Can we see it again, the new one? And it just is like
So,
becoming too much.
but here's this. See this bottom thing? Ask at every stop. Every time you walk out of a door to tour for a rental, you need to ask them a question. If this property were to leave the market tomorrow and you never applied, would you feel like you missed out? And if the answer is yes, then I strongly encourage you to apply, because you can apply for as many units as you want. The only time that an apartment is legally yours, the renter's, is if a deposit has been made and accepted and the lease has been signed and executed by all parties. Until that happens, I'll take 15 apps on one lease, because I don't know if the one that I approved is actually gonna follow through with the deposit and the lease. That's why I keep all my units on as active until we have an executed lease, then I turn it to pending, and I turn it to close on the day the lease closes. But you have to ask this question: if you leave today and you find it's no longer available, are you going to feel like you missed it? It at least gets your clients in that mindset of going from browsing to being able to make a decision and deciding, oh, this is actually part of it. And you have to ask for the application. There's so many buildings, leasing agents, leasing teams, management teams, even realtors with their clients, they never ask for their client to apply. Never do it. They're just, I'll send you a link. Go, you know, like if this works for you, great. They don't actually ask for the business. And when your client, you know, you gotta tell them that the real estate moves fast, rentals move fast, even faster than stuff for sale. Time is always of the essence in real estate. You've got to remind them, hit them home, tell them 3 times, tell them once, tell them again, tell them you told them so. Ask them about if they're going to feel like they miss out. Tell them that the market moves fast and real estate, time is always of the essence. Encourage urgency, because if something comes up now and then they say it to there, and then they say, oh, tomorrow they've seen something else, like, don't forget about this property. You got to apply, because by the time we put in a request to tour for tomorrow, you know, because it meets their time, and maybe they need 24 hours notice, the one we just saw and thought about, somebody applied, it's now off the market. You've got to create this urgency, because it is urgent. It will come off the market. It will. You have to set expectations. And usually I do this even before we meet, or I do it at first property we meet. I say, hey, 10% of everything we want to tour today is not going to be available to tour. They just took it off the market. The keys don't work. The lockbox is broken, whatever reason. So just throw out 10%. And even if you wanted it, somebody's already applied. While we are standing out front here, someone applied for the unit. We're going to go tour tomorrow. Or
2 hours ago.
Or 2 hours ago.
Is it up to landlords that they, or is it like a law that they, require that 3 times the income?
It depends.
Is it, so it's subjective, the landlord can do what they want, right?
Landlord can do what they want. They say, hey, I'll only accept $500 at the first month's rent, or 3 times the monthly rent. Each management company is different. There's no rhyme or reason other than the policy, but they have to they have to have that standard that they are consistent for that.
Across the board, yeah. Because one renter said, oh, I thought that was against the law here, but I didn't know.
First class and security.
Yeah.
There are laws out there that are gonna change, but they're not written in, and so it's not, right now, there's no point in discussing what can be. This is reality, this is what's being offered, and this is, if you want it, this is what the requirements.
And you said first, last, and security?
Usually it's first class and security.
Yeah.
But in larger apartment buildings, it's like first month's rent or prorated amount of rent plus a small deposit and application.
Okay.
So say you go on a showing and you do 7 properties, and you ask them, hey, which one did you like the most? And they go, oh, you know, all of them are all right, but 123 Main Street seems like it was like the best one, but I'm still not like completely in love with it. What's like your next steps? Go, like, are you sending them an application just for the hell of it?
If you have to ask, are you going to apply for it or not? Right? Time is of the essence.
Right.
If this left the market tomorrow and you didn't apply, would you feel like you missed out? Remember, I sent you 15 to 20 perfect properties based on our search criteria, what is available on the market. It's possible something else could come on the market, but out of the 15 to 20 that I sent you, what's the likelihood that the very next one is gonna be the one that's gonna be your dream, everything in it? Like, you can wait out and hold out if you want, but you can apply for as many as you want. Hedge your bet. Let's make sure that you've got something that you can fall back on. And even if this isn't your fallback property, it's still better than that.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
How do you save on application fees? I know a lot of people who are like, I don't like fine.
Nope.
What about the thing that's probably gonna be?
Not an adult, not applicable,
Not yet,
and
right.
it's not been ready to, and it's not been written into law. Every management company has their own applications.
Right.
I've got my own application fee of $75 per applicant, including yours. Yep, like I said,
Is there a law for a maximum amount?
there is a bill that's being proposed for a maximum of $50, but that's not been
It's not
signed
in
into law.
place yet, okay, okay.
But
I'm hearing some of the changes between New York and Pennsylvania that's been a lot.
What about that one that they are thinking about, that have been meeting, that Philadelphia is going to do one application
Yeah, I think it's,
to everybody by next year? That's not gonna happen, you think?
I don't think it's one application, there's no way. That's like saying the police department, the fire department, city hall, ambulance services should all use Motorola phone. I don't know if you know, but every department has like, I'm not involved in that, but you know, it's like, you shouldn't have AT&T or Verizon or Clear Choice or whatever, you're gonna use one system. That's never gonna happen. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's the same. But they can have a flat cut fee of $50. They just haven't signed into law. Yeah. Makes sense. Okay. All right, you've got to ask for applications and stuff like that. And consistent question to
I needed, I needed your, and I wanted to know that your buildings, because I have few years.
everything we have, so I'll say this again for everybody, everything we have on the MLS and everything you have available is listed on the MLS. If you have a client that needs to find a one bedroom somewhere in somebody, I guarantee you, it's on the MLS. You don't have to worry about that. Again, I love any commissions. Please take your clients, come to work, call me, text me, whatever it is.
You want to give us your information on it?
Yeah, it's on.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Listen, consistency and follow tonight, those is what we're getting on. If I'm getting too talkative, let me know and that kind of stuff, but you know what I mean. See, after the tour, the way file, next steps, all that kind of stuff. I'll also have a bonus topic at the end here that help you compile all this stuff to make it way easier of doing, follow-ups and next steps and reminders and all that kind of stuff. Oh my God, I can't even read that. You guys gotta tell me, you gotta change this to black.
Yeah.
Look at that. I thought it was like, it looks cool on my laptop, but it's not up here. Everything's like, oh no.
Sage for George, following immediately after towards the next step.
Oh my God, I can't even read.
Properties at the other side if possible.
I can see it, but
Okay. So at the end, I've got my email you sent me. I will give you this presentation. It's easy to read, all this other kind of stuff, PDFs, all that stuff that's online, whatever. I guarantee you it'll be a lot easier. Oh my God, look at that. Basically, I'm asking you to act like a consultant, right? Because you're working an asset, as droll as that is, and as putting everybody down as like a 401k and an asset and stuff like that. You're not just opening doors and sending links. On the MLS, you're not just sending my 31 bedroom units at Parktown Place and 17 units at 201 South 25th Street and the one townhouse and the one. You're not just sending links right out to them and hope that they do it and pick it. You're more than that, right? You're the expert. You should be the expert. You should have that wisdom applying to knowledge. You're not door openers. None of us are door openers, right? Except for the person that needs to do it in 14 days. Right? And then you're going to say, do I want to work with them? Depends. What's the rental rate? I think you really need to move, buy something in the future. Right? Your value isn't just in access to listings. It's in helping clients make these confident decisions, especially if they're going to spend $12, $24, $60,000 in 1 year. That's a big purchase. I don't think anybody's really said to me when I started out, like, that's what they're buying. If they're buying a $60,000 something and I'm helping them sell it, like, that makes me think like I'm a jeweler. You know, like, my wedding band that I bought my wife was $60,000, but here I am dropping for, you know, all this kind of stuff. But especially since, think of it this way, since every person you meet that's a renter, I'm like 99.997% repeating, guaranteeing you that they're gonna do a real estate transaction in 12 months from the day you meet them.
Right.
That's because they're either gonna rent with you or not, but they're gonna move or renew. And if you think about it, if they're gonna move or renew, it's a 50-50 chance that they're gonna move. And if they move, I'd rather be in their decision tree to say, you haven't made that decision yet. Let me send you some curated properties to help you make that decision. But if you want to renew, I'm happy to help you. Send me the renewal docs. I'll review it. I'll look at your lease. Let me help you. I love educating. Let me look at your lease and see, can I help you in any way?
Do you get commission off of renewals as well? Oh, okay. Just checking.
If you do, wonderful. But honestly,
No commission off
Do you,
I saw many renewals. I mean, what, you know, no.
do you get renewals for commercial? Renewal commercial leases?
So typically, commercial leases, you're getting paid in a different way.
Right.
Right, you're getting paid like a percentage of the overall rental payments of the entire term, of like a
Yes.
5-year term or something.
Yes.
Renewals, you could probably write in language and stuff like that to be able to get a commission and stuff like that. Is it standard? Depends. It really depends on the property.
And do you just do residential?
No, we do commercial.
You do, okay.
We do commercial, stuff like that. And that's a totally different type of business model, and your E&O insurance for commercial properties doesn't cover you like your, like buying residential. You could be held personally liable for a lot of these mistakes, which go into the hundreds of thousands of dollars that can then become career ending. So that's why commercial brokers, we have a commercial brokerage department here at KW. We also, my team, TCS Group also has a commercial broker and a commercial brokerage company to make sure that we're, you know, covering
Yes.
our liability side to it.
Gotcha.
So if you do have a commercial client, reach out to like Andre, you know Andre from, if you have commercial questions, stuff like that, reach out to me. I can get you connected with people here at KW or people on our team. At least you can be knowledgeable and help on the transaction and earn a commission or refer your client to them and work on that deal. But there's some very big liability issues that come with working commercial deals.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds
so,
good. Thank you.
but basically, you become a trusted advisor, right? That's the goal. Be their trusted resource, whether they need it, they hurt somebody that needs help, or any of that kind of stuff. And basically, the takeaways here is that renters are the foundation for these future success. Hold it. Read that. Sorry, I need to start the background on that. And agents who consistently close rentals aren't just surviving, right? They're building, and you're building a resilient business, right? Because every renter, I'll place that word, every buyer, place that word, seller, contact, coffee buddy, high school friend, contact, right, is an opportunity. You don't know where it's going to be. You don't. What if you could refer one of these clients to another business, even if they're not in real estate, but you have a friend, nail salon, hair, commercial that they do, stonework, anything like that, you could refer people to. You become a networking source. You become that trusted advisor and go-to person. Don't treat rentals as a stepping stone. I mean, you're losing tomorrow's sale if you end up doing. And don't say you've got to do 12 rentals in 1 year. Try one. Right? See if it works. If you're happy with it, try 6. You know, keep going on and coming back. You know, I'd say if you have 50 people you take out and only rent to 6, you're punishing yourself. Find a way to qualify these renters even better, faster, or with more care. And honestly, I'll get to it and how you're able to do that. You know, more deliberately. But you know, at our team at Rent Philly, you know, we built our business around reputation on rentals. It's really strategic move. I've got hundreds of buildings in 32 states that we list on the MLS, and we list all of their units and stuff like that. I'm not saying for you to become what we are, like all these listings and stuff like that, which is one of the reasons why I don't like work with buyers. I'm still inundated with listings and renters and that stuff. but just think of renters as what the opportunity might be, right? We streamline everything we possibly can for the agents on our team to make it as easy as possible for them. We build infrastructure, CRM systems and stuff like that, and it's about not doing more, but it's about being smarter and helping the agents on our team to be able to do that. I'm not sitting here and telling you stuff like that to recruit you. I want you to tour our buildings. That's my goal, right? I want you also to give you the exact system that I give our agents here. This is my email. Screenshot this, email me, I'll send you a link, but basically I want to give you all the tools and training that I give our agents on our team in the 32 states that we're on of working with renters. I'll give it up gladly. If you're on a team, use it for your team. If you're an individual independent agent, you use it for your whole thing. So, want access? I'll show you what it looks like.
How much is it?
Free.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm not charging. No. I want you to bring your rental clients to my properties. If I want to pay you commission, because if I pay you commission, that means I made a commission.
Right.
That's my goal. I want you to work with renters to maybe tour some of our buildings. But if you don't, tour anything on the MLS that meets your client's needs. You'll make money. You'll thank me. We'll do deals together, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, I've got stuff on here, like all these different modules. Look at all this different stuff. I'm gonna pick building a scalable rental business system and tools, right? You click on this, there we go. Replicatable workflows, time management, leveraging tools and technology, tracking metrics that matter. I mean, I've got detailed stuff in here of how to do it. I mean, replicatable. I'll give it to you. Just want you to do deals. So. No, hey. I don't want to. Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't want to do that.
I think stop share might be where you want to go, the red one to start.
No.
Because you were screen sharing.
No, I think it was zooming. Alright. Well. I can go off, I can go off of stuff like this, but basically. There is a bonus topic that I can talk about, if you like, which is how many of you are utilizing AI in your real estate business right now? Right, so you're saying so, yes. And that's ChatGPT, or as I call them, Chip, because I hate saying those letters together. I'm just gonna call them Chip. How many of you are using Chip or Microsoft Copilot or any of these other things?
Yes.
Right? So if you only have, let's say, 40 hours a week, let's say you're like, 9 to 5. We're all realtors, we're not 9 to 5, but let's say we are 40 hours a week, and you take out clients every single week, 40 hours, and you do 12 leases, right, a year. Let's just say you're doing leases. How can you double the amount of leases, go from 12 leases a year to 24, if you only have 24 hours a day, and what you're doing to the fullest, but how can you double your business? Systems, processes, replicatability, all that kind of stuff, right? Leveraging them. ChatGPT, Chip, and Copilot, and all these other things help you with not in that 2-hour block that you have to schedule for your lead, because that is physical time in front of somebody. But how do you reduce all this back and forth of setting up listings and stuff like this? Honestly, it's using AI to reduce the amount of time spent communicating back and forth to get the most amount of effort in the least amount of time. It's high, output, low input, like low barrier, right? And I say this, and I'll give you, like, if you email me, boots@tcsgroup.com, whatever, I'll email you these ChatGPT prompts, Chip prompts, and Copilot prompts. It's all the same, because what if you, instead of, and I say this again, and I'll say this to you too, who's on my team, if you send out 15 to 20 properties from the MLS, what does that normally mean to you? You're going to select them and you're going to send it through Right MLS, aren't you? Because you're going to get the leads to come back and look at those properties on the MLS and click the little heart button and whatever else. Honestly, I get very few leads coming back and doing that, other than they're just emailing me, hey, I want to see this, or I want to see this MLS number of this property. Not actually going in and doing it. I find that MLS is great for sending, or rather for compiling properties. What do you do with AI and this? Download the 15 to 20 properties, maybe 25, you find more, if something doesn't match. Download them as a client full version. Do you know what I mean by client full? As a PDF, go to print, because if you do just download, agent full, that's listing agent information, contact information, all that stuff, and you're giving it to your clients. A lot of agents do that. Don't do that. Don't be one of those agents. Only be the source of contact for these properties. Download 15 to 20 of these in one PDF. Client full. Upload it in chip. Got a prompt I'll give you. It says summarize all this, pick the best 2 to 3 properties, give detailed information on each of these properties. Don't give me emoticons, don't give me bullet points. Don't tell me how are you doing today, and they must align and set expectations. These words that ChatGPT has, like it will align with your search criteria, and it is imperative that you stop. Tell it not to do that, because everybody knows it's ChatGPT. You upload in there, and it will create an incredibly amazing email selecting, telling you how many days on market this one unit has been on. Here's what the square footage is. And guess what? These cover a couple units in this one building. Here's the price ranges, the average days on market,
So
security
they will
deposits.
give you one email for each property for you to send to your.
No. I'm saying take the PDF that you downloaded from Bright. Upload the entire PDF, which is 15 to 20 properties. Ask it to summarize this and give you the 3 best stuff based on your client's search criteria.
Oh, okay.
I want lots of light. I want a modern kitchen. I want pets. Give me 2 to 3 that's going to meet what their best things are. Tell them to look at the PDF. Ask them, I want to review this list today at 5:30 p.m. and tomorrow at 10 a.m. Or let's set up a Zoom call or Microsoft Team call. Now help me write this email. Write it in a professional manner as a real estate agent talking to a client. Again, if I didn't hit escape, you would see this prompt and be able to give it to you, which I'll still give it to you. Do you know how much time you just saved? And how much more meaningful that email is rather than sending it from the MLS. How many times do you write a personal thing in the MLS when you send it?
Do you still send the MLS, like the listings through the MLS?
No, I don't set for renters. I don't set auto email alerts. Because like you had said, what if they see an email from me the next day and there's a property there?
Yeah.
As soon as I send them that list and they want to go, I cut that off.
So then how do they just copy the address to go like see which ones you're referring to from the email or from the PDF? Like
From the PDF, I'll say, hey, tell me which properties or units based on this PDF that you'd like more information on or we should talk about. Or if you meet with me on Zoom at 5:30 tonight or 10 p.m., I'm going to go on the MLS. I'm going to do an entire search. And whatever I send to them is just to get them on a Zoom with me so we can narrow down even.
okay.
Narrow
So maybe
down.
I'm not because I know the big thing is gonna be pictures. So in the PDF, are there actual pictures or is it just that
Yeah, pictures.
one?
Pictures.
Oh, okay, so it's a big PDF.
I mean, you could be 9 megabytes.
Okay.
15 properties. It's not, it's not that large of a PDF. You can send it via Gmail or, other systems. It's not going to block it.
Yeah.
Do pictures because AI is going to look at the pictures too. It knows what's in it.
Okay. Because I'm used to seeing the client folder. It just has a description. It doesn't always have all the photos. So.
Include this little button you can select and say
Got
include
it.
images from there too as well.
Perfect. I think that's what I'm missing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But honestly, ChatGPT, chip, Copilot, use it as much as you possibly can. Okay, that's the class about. Now, in the link, if you email me, I'll give you the training. It's like 21 modules. I'll give you lead trackers, spreadsheets, scripts, text messaging stuff to use, literally start to finish.
And Boots like the quote there, right?
Yeah, I blame my parents. BOOT.
No, I had the spelling. Sorry.
Boots at tcsgroup.com. Listen, this is not me like wanting to recruit you to our team and that kind of stuff. I literally want you to come tour my buildings. And how do I do that? I want to teach you how to work with renters and do that. I'll give you the training, no cost. It's free. You've seen the training, it's the same stuff. And I'm always available. Email me, text me, that kind of stuff. Okay?
Thank you.
I just have one more question.